Hi, today is November 23rd, 2023, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 1873 for the year 1900. Today I have a 1900-day streak in Duolingo. I have done Duolingo more days in a row than I have written poems this year. I have done Duolingo for more consecutive days than I have written poems. Today is day 1142 for writing poems, but it's day 1900 doing Duolingo. And no, I can't speak French yet. I don't do Duolingo for more than 5 minutes on most days. 1900 days and I can't speak French. 1142 days, and I don't know if I can write poetry either. Poem number 1874. Her cat could tell time. Her cat can tell time. Her cat can tell time. She has rigged up a button to a talking clock, and when she asks Parmesan what time it is, Parmesan presses the button that is hooked up to the talking clock, and then the clock announces the time. It might have been easier for her to have gotten one of those Amazon devices. You don't have to give the Echo Dot a cat treat after it tells the time. But this way, with Parmesan, is a lot more fun. Poem number 1875, Shirt Poems. If I were to write a poem about the shirt I am wearing right now, and about how my friend Leah gave it to me for my birthday, and about how it's a reference to the Canadian TV show Letterkenny, and about how I told her about the show, and then she ended up finishing watching all of the then current episodes before I did, and how on that show they like to say pitter patter instead of let's get going because pitter patter stands for pitter patter, let's get at her. Let's get at her. Pitter patter, let's get at her. And 3 days ago, when I wrote a poem, There Are Worse Things in Life Than Getting Somewhere Early, I was also thinking about Letterkenny because also on that show they also like to say, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. If I were to explain all that, that wouldn't make this the third shirt poem in 2 days because yes, it's true that yesterday I wrote two poems about the shirt I had on yesterday, but this poem is really more about Letterkenny than it is about the shirt I have on today. And maybe I will write more shirt poems, and if I were to decide to write a bunch of collected shirt poems, maybe this poem would be in it, but I still wouldn't really think of it as a shirt poem. Poem number 1876, Shit Poems. I wonder if by the time I'm 89 I will have written a lot of shit poems. I hope not. If I have written a lot of shit poems, I would probably be compelled to collect them in a book of collected shit poems. And then when I'm at the bookstore signing books, old people, which are defined as people significantly older than me, might come up to me and say, I don't think these poems are shit. I think they're very good, and I'd have to explain. Or maybe someone would say, thank you for poem number 2034.409 because it really captured my struggles with irregularity. And I would have to say, you're welcome. Or maybe someone would say, you've got a book of shit poems and you've got a book of shirt poems. How come you haven't put out a book of penis poems? And I will have to say, didn't I? I thought I put out a book called Detachable Penis and Other Little Stories back in 28, and so on. I don't think any of this will happen. I'm not that interested in shirts, and I'm not that interested in shit, and I pitched the penis poem a while back, but no one grabbed it. But who knows? Maybe one day. Penis poems, shirt poems, shit poems. Could happen. And the last poem of the day, poem number 1877, The Real Men album. Actually, there's a poem called Shit on the Real Men album. It seems as though I am reminded of the Real Men album at least once a week. I don't know how many poems are on the Real Men album, but sometimes it feels like there must be almost 100 score. Wouldn't that be 2,000? Sometimes it feels like there are like 1,879 poems on the Real Men album, which would be two more than I've written this entire year once this one is done. But it's not true. There are actually fewer than 30 poems on the Real Men album. Some of them are shit, and one of them is called Shit. And that's about all I have to say about it or anything else just now. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate you.